I'm just going ahead and pulling up the legislation that will be presented, so we don't have to worry about that. So give me one more second for that. All right, let's go ahead and get it started. All right, I call this meeting to order at 7:35. Alani, can you please do the roll call?
Yes. If for any reason when I call your name, there's a lag and I don't hear you or anything, just private message me and I will note that. Brandon. Ramira. David.
Sophomore Senator present.
Riley.
Sophomore Senator present.
Haley. Soluwanimi.
Junior Senator present.
7. Shania. Diana.
Senior Senator present.
Cameron.
Senior Senator present.
Joshua.
Senior Senator present.
Sonika.
Graduate Senator present.
Shira.
Graduate Senator present.
Jakari.
Commuter Senator present.
Tyler.
Commuter Senator present.
Jack.
Commuter Senator present.
Jasmine.
Residential Senator present.
Azariah.
At-large Senator present.
Mora.
At-large Senator present.
Edmund.
Student Organization Senator present.
Mason. Leslie.
College of Arts and Sciences Senator present.
Maloney.
School of Ed Senator present.
Kennedy.
Health and Human Science Senator present.
All right, that concludes roll call. Thank you.
Alani, can you tell me how many people that was? And
Can you give me a minute? I gotta go count.
okay, and add I think somehow Tim name got removed from the spreadsheet or something like that, but he is there. And Jordan, there's 3 people.
I didn't see it. I'm not but I don't see it on the spreadsheet. But yes, I will note that.
Okay. All right, we're gonna keep on moving. Oh, my screen stopped sharing. Hold on 1 second. All right. Approval of the minutes. The minutes were sent out along with the agenda. If I could just get somebody to approve, that would be nice. Evan?
So moved.
All right, thank you. All right, approval of the agenda. There are some changes made to agenda. Give me 1 second as I pulled it up. So some changes were GB 9907 as well as SR 9910 was added to the agenda. Can I get a motion to amend the agenda to reflect those adding? Shira,
Motion to amend the agenda.
say those to, okay, that's fine. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Now can I get a Evan?
So moved.
All right. Again, I present the screen. All right, guest speaker Sean McInes, I will give you the floor to present. Please let me know if you need to share your screen, and I will give you those that access. Sean? I don't think he's on the Zoom.
Is he on the call?
He was supposed to, but I don't think he is.
Alexis, you know if the agenda was sent to him? Seeing what Alani did.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Did I send the agenda to who?
Sean, I thought the agenda was sent by you to him. That's why I didn't mention it, because it's guest speaker you invite. I guess I misread that. It's all right. I will follow with him and add him to next week's agenda. We're gonna keep moving since he isn't here.
Okay.
All right, student forum. Any student present and wishing to speak may speak at this time. HA members may respond, but can only bring up new topics during senator forum. Look at the chat. There's nothing here. Give me 1 second as I look at the live screen to see if there's any concerns there. Okay, seeing that there is none, we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to go into old business. For old business, we have SR 9908. Here is SR 9908. Mara,
motion to view is read.
is there a second?
Second.
All right, this is being viewed as read.
All right. Hey, Sahin, can I talk about a couple of the changes that were made real quick?
Yes.
All right. So per the feedback from last week's meeting, Mara relayed to me. If you look at the last whereas clause, where it says upon the following recommendations by the Social Justice Diversity and Inclusion Committee, hyperlinked are a list of different heritage months originally that we came up with last year. So those have the different heritage months along with different student organizations that we found that correspond with those heritage months. For the enacted clauses, the first one is really just to change the language of it. And the first one is really just talking about sort of the responsibility, like make the high responsibilities. So as you see, by the second meeting of the fall semester, the committee chair is responsible for reporting out all Heritage Months, so that at that time, the committee will already have known what Heritage Months they're going to do for every month. So that way, it's not like as a per month basis, they figure it out. So it will already be pre-planned. And then in the further enacted section, the Student Government Association, it states that it will update the standard operating procedures to add the following, and the committee is responsible for each of the following per Heritage Month. So these are things that they have to do for every Heritage Month, because from my understanding, there was a little bit of confusion on if it was once per the year, once per semester, but it clearly states now that it is once per month. The committee is to do all these things.
All right, thank you for that, Edmund. Now we're going to move into a 5-minute period of question Q&A. If there's any questions, put an X in the chat and I will get to you. If there are any questions, I can entertain a motion to move us into discussion. Shira.
Could you just scroll down quickly to the sections where the changes were made? Because I'm having a hard time finding where this piece is to read them myself.
It's in the Senate legislation folder in the drive. Or if you go to the drive and type in SR 99-08, it'll pull up. But the changes were right here per Heritage Month, which I highlighted last week. It didn't have that, as well as this new whereas clause in 21.
Thank you.
Jasmine?
Oh, motion to move to discussion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, now we're in discussion, a 5-minute period of discussion. If there's any points of discussion, just put an X in the chat. Evan?
Seeing no points of discussion, the motion to move into a vote by roll call.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we're gonna go into vote by roll call. Michael, it's on you. Hold on 1 second though. Just making sure those people who said that their names weren't called on this list. Yep, they're here. Yep, they're here. All right. Go ahead, Michael, it's on you.
All right, when I call my name, you can just say either yes, no, or abstain. Brandon Monroe. Ramira Perry. David Gonzalez Hernandez. Riley Coruscant.
Yes.
Haley Jordan.
Yes.
Tulawami Debayo Doherty.
Yes.
Seven Fierce. Shania Clark. Diana Martinez.
Yes.
Cameron Ziegler.
Yes.
Joshua Brown.
Yes.
Soniki Singhal. Shira Snyder.
Yes.
Jakari Hudson.
Yes.
Tyler Holden.
Abstain.
Jack Stevens,
Yes.
Jasmine Israel,
Yes.
Azaria Journey.
Azariah, yes.
Oh, my fault, my fault.
No problem, Michael.
Elijah King, Mara Crenshaw,
Yes.
Jeremy Brown,
Yes.
Edmund P. Gayton,
Yes.
Mason Newcomer, Leslie,
Yes.
Saloni Shaw,
Yes.
Kennedy Green.
Yes.
All right, let me count up these votes real quick.
You skipped Tim Fang as well.
I did?
Yeah, on the list. I watched you go over his name on accident.
Okay. Tim Fang.
Yes.
All right, my fault for skipping you.
It's all good.
All right, I'm gonna count on the votes real quick. So SR 9908 will vote with a pass of 18 yeses, 1 abstain, and 0 no's. Thank you for participating.
All right, we're going to go into our new business. Firstly, we're going to start with Governing Bill 9907. Give me 1 second as I pull that up. Can y'all see that? I don't know why it keeps putting my presentation up. All right, Governing Bill 9907, authored by Edmund, sponsored by Edmund. So Edmund, can you come and read, please?
Yeah. Do you want me to read it, Peyton, or do you want to read it?
I can read it if y'all don't care.
All right. Yeah, that's perfect for me.
Cool. All right, y'all. So just really quick, I'm hoping to get this bill on the fast track. So would love to get a vote on this done tonight. But I'll go ahead and read through it if that's okay with everyone. So bill is to be entitled Approval of Proposed Constitutional Amendments to be placed on a referendum. So Saheem, if you could scroll down really quick. Be so great. Okay, so the Student Senate of UNC Greensboro Student Government Association adopts the following bill. Whereas in the current Constitution, Article 16, Section 1A states that upon a 2/3 majority approval of present and voting senators, amendments may be placed on a referendum. And whereas the Constitution for the Student Government Association currently delineates that students wishing to run for offices of vice president and chair pro tempore must have been sworn members of the Student Government Association for at least 21 continuous weeks by the time they apply to run for office. And whereas this rule currently disqualifies students sworn into the Student Government Association during the fall 2021 special election cycle from running for the office of vice president. And whereas the date on which special elections candidates were sworn into office was not within their control, and due to a clerical error during the fall 2021 elections process, some were made ineligible to run for the office of vice president during the spring 2022 election cycle. And whereas the Attorney General requests that the Senate's approval to place the below provisional amendment on a constitutional referendum in an attempt to remedy this issue. In Section 6, under the candidacy requirements for both Vice President and Chair Pro Tempore, the following would be proposed as an addition. Quote, during the spring 2022 election cycle, the 21 continuous week requirement may be waived for students sworn into their respective offices during the fall 2021 special elections period. Due to a clerical error that was out of the control of special elections candidates, a group of students were sworn in later than scheduled and were made ineligible for the office of vice president and potentially the office of chair pro tempore under the 21 continuous week requirement, whereas they would have previously been eligible to apply. Waiver of this eligibility requirement applies only to special elections candidates for the fall 2021 semester who wish to run for office during the spring 2022 election cycle. And whereas following the passage of this bill by the Senate of the 99th session of the Student Government Association, the referendum will open to the student body for voting on Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022, and will close on Friday, March 4th, 2022. Therefore, be it enacted upon passage of this legislation and the passage of the amendments via referendum, Attorney General will implement the amendments into the official constitution, and the Student Government Association will proceed with conducting the spring 2022 election cycle according to these amendments. Further enacted, the updated version of the SGA Constitution will join the current version in the 99th session Google Drive. The Governing Documents Review Committee will subsequently proceed with implementing any necessary changes to the standard operating procedures in accordance with the approval of the constitutional amendments. This act shall be effective upon enrollment.
Okay, now we're going to move it into a period of Q&A. If there's any questions, put an X in the chat.
And I'm happy to explain like more about this if anyone's confused.
Actually, can you just go ahead and explain?
Yeah, cool. So basically, I've had several students reach out to me with concerns about the swear-in date from last semester for both the special election cycle, like the first round of the special election cycle, and then also after the runoff rounds. So the swear-in dates for special elections candidates last semester were October 19th and November 2nd. And both of those groups of people under this 21-week rule are currently ineligible to run for office for the positions of vice president and then subsequently chair pro temp, depending on when that person is selected. So the deadline for the vice president application is tomorrow. So basically, both of those groups of people would be sitting at about 19 weeks as sworn members to 17 weeks as sworn members, and both of them would no longer be, both groups of those people, if they desired to run, would no longer be eligible to run for that office. And we do have a pretty good amount of interest from both of those groups. So we're wanting to make sure that I'm wanting to make sure my purpose with this legislation is to make sure that those people are, made eligible for this election cycle. So I've heard from a couple of students about this. This seems to be a concern that several people share. I think we also have to remember there were a couple of clerical issues with the election cycle last semester that were not within the control of the students who were sworn in. So that's something that I personally don't believe should prevent them from running. But yeah, I hope that makes a little bit more sense. And just so y'all know, like basically how close it is. So this provisional amendment, if it were to pass referendum, would expire obviously after this semester because it only is good for this semester. So it would allow any students in that cycle wishing to run to do so. So once this election cycle is over, then that is no longer a concern. But if anyone has any questions, just let me know.
Hey, Peyton, can I add something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Also, to go off of what Peyton was saying, I was on the original, like last year when we were revising the Constitution. The whole intentionality behind the 21 weeks is so that people who are a part of everyone who comes in the special elections is still eligible. Originally, the Constitution read you have to be in Senate 2 of the last 3 semesters, but the interpretation of the 2 semesters, if a special election counted, was very confused. So the whole point that we originally had is that we wanted it so regardless, if you come in for special elections, that you're still eligible. However, as Peyton said, clerical issues happened, and then now those people are not eligible. So this is really just to make sure that the intentionality of the new Constitution is still followed and that people who come in special election can still run for the position.
Exactly. Thank you, Edmund.
All right. Now we're in a period of Q&A. Azariah?
Can I please be added as a sponsor, Peyton?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. This is important. So I appreciate you and Edmund working on this.
Yeah, definitely. And Obviously, y'all, I apologize for this being last minute. Like Edmund said, based on the original intent of the way this was written, we didn't foresee this becoming an issue specifically because of the way that it was written. We wanted to make sure that people in special elections were included in eligibility to run. So awesome.
Riley, then Kendall. Well, then somebody use their time to Kendall, but Riley.
Could I also be added as a sponsor, please?
Yes. Can someone please use their time to Kendall?
I yield my time.
Kendall.
I'd like to be added as a signatory as well.
Oh, there's no signatory spot.
I'm sorry, that was my fault.
I can't spell.
And yeah, basically, y'all, I know this is kind of a time crunch. It's just a couple of days that this vote is open, but we just want to make sure we're including students in this process as much as possible. And this is the only way to really make sure that we're doing this in an ethical way. So that's why the bill, I guess, would be how to put it.
Looks like Shira.
Can I also be added as a sponsor for this bill?
Yes. Edmund.
Just for the purpose of us being able to like get this out, can I make a motion to view this for a second reading, just so we can have that second reading done?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Since we just read it, can I make a motion to not reread it?
Yeah, say you make a motion to use read.
Can I do that, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, it's seconded. All right, now we're in 5-minute period Q&A. Riley.
If there are no further questions, motion to move to discussion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, now we're in a 5-minute period of discussion. Evan.
If there are no further points of discussion, motion to move into a vote by roll call.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Michael, it's on you.
Michael, 10 points if you get my name right this time.
I got you. But same like last time, call your name, say yes, no, or abstain. Brandon Monroe. Ramira Perry. David Gonzalez Hernandez.
Yes.
Riley Corsat.
Yes.
Haley Jordan.
Yes.
Kulawami Debayo Doherty.
Yes.
Seven Fierce. Shania Clark. Diana Martinez. Cameron Ziegler.
Yes.
Joshua Brown.
Yes.
Soniki Singhal. Shira Snyder.
Yes.
Jakari Hudson.
Yes.
Tim Fang.
Yes.
Tyler Holden.
Yes.
Jack Stevens.
Yes.
Jasmine Israel.
Yes.
Azariah Journey,
Yes.
Elijah King, Mara Crenshaw,
Yes.
Jeremy Brown,
Yes.
Edmund P. Gayton,
Yes.
Mason Newcomer,
I abstain.
All right, I'm gonna count up the votes real quick.
You didn't say my name.
Oh, my fault.
My name wasn't called either. Yeah, it wasn't called either.
My fault. I ain't scroll down all the way. Leslie,
Yes.
Saloni Shaw,
Yes.
Kennedy Green.
Yes.
All right, now I'm finna count up these votes real quick. All right, Governing Bill 9907 will pass with a vote of 21 yeses, 1 abstain, 0 no's. Thank you all for participating.
All right, we're gonna keep moving forward. All right, now we're gonna go to SR 9909. All right, Tyler, this is your piece of legislation, so please come up and read.
So I can read this. This is the resolution to reaffirm the right to freedom of speech and expression at UNC Greensboro. So Section 1, the Student Senate of UNC Greensboro Student Government Association adopts the following resolution. Whereas the University of North Carolina at Greensboro states of its core values, UNCG fully supports and values an inclusive community with visible and meaningful representation of diversity. We seek to promote a climate of civility and respect where diverse viewpoints and experiences are welcome. UNCG is committed to protecting the rights of all to ensure that each person in our community is empowered, valued, and respected for their contributions to the university, the mission of this university. And whereas, consistent with our university's stated values, the Student Government Association of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro promotes an environment where diverse viewpoints and experiences are welcome, as well as a campus where the rights of all are protected so that each individual is at liberty to express oneself in a free and prosperous marketplace of ideas. And whereas, the intended purpose of the Student Government Association of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro is to be the vehicle through which all students are represented and have a voice, regardless of what their beliefs or values are and what they hold. And whereas, the Student Government Association at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro should empower all students to express their religious, political, or personal beliefs or viewpoints. And whereas, students should not be targeted, bullied, harassed, slandered, personally attacked via ad hominem, or censored for holding and expressing their beliefs or viewpoints. And whereas, the harassment, targeting of, and discrimination against students for their affiliation with campus organizations of their choosing is absolutely unacceptable and must not be tolerated. And whereas, the University of North Carolina at Greensboro should be a college campus where all students are welcome and where viewpoints, opinions, and ideas can be heard. Therefore, be it resolved, upon passage of this resolution, the Student Government Association of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro will unequivocally support freedom of speech and the expression of religious, political, or personal beliefs and viewpoints by all students at this university, as well as condemn any and all attempts, whether from within or from without its organization, to censor, harass, bully, target, or personally slander students and organizations at our university for their beliefs and viewpoints. This resolution shall be effective upon enrollment.
Okay, Tyler, you can talk about why you wrote this, or we can go into a 5-minute period of Q&A.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I wrote this. I know we've all been paying attention about what's been happening the past few weeks. So really the purpose of this resolution is twofold. Firstly, it affirms the SGA's support for the rights of both individuals and organizations and their right to freedom of speech and expression. Secondly, it affirms that those who are engaging in that free speech and expression should not be subject to things such as bullying, ad hominem attacks, harassment, targeting, and slander. There's a firm line to be drawn there. Drawing that line is a key distinction there, and I believe this resolution does this well. So that's the quintessential goal of this resolution. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Okay, Azariah.
Thank you. So I actually have a couple questions. Do you mind please scrolling down for me, Saheem, to go down just a little further for me, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. So Tyler, where you state that the harassment, targeting of, and discrimination against students for their affiliation with campus organizations of their choosing is absolutely unacceptable and not tolerated. And then furthermore, talk about bullying, any attempts of bullying from within or outside of its organization. I just want to bring this to not only your mind, but to all SGA members here. It wasn't only a couple weeks ago that there was a screenshot that somehow got on national organizations that put me and my family at risk. And somehow got on right-wing websites. I've gotten death threats. I have gotten more threats than I should have gotten because of a screenshot that ended up on a national page. And for this to be a bill that is written, I understand where you're coming from, but I think at the same time, there needs to be some accountability that not only did that place myself in danger, but it placed my entire family in danger. I have been shot by rubber bullets. I have been shot with tear gas with peacefully protesting, and that's all been with me. But having my name, my picture, and my location on a national website follows underneath every single one of these things that you wrote about that you don't want happening. And bullying is a lot different than someone disagreeing with an opinion of homophobia or transphobia or what have you. So I would just ask that you reconsider what you're saying. And if you're saying it's going to be had by all, that those actions by those individuals stop, because in the world that we live in, at 29 years old, I would like to stop receiving death threats because I'm trying to fight for transgender lives and because I'm gay. So I don't know your response to that. I don't know if you thought about that while you were writing that. I also know that pictures of me were posted of me pre-transitioning. That's something that has never happened to me before. I'm not trying to call anybody out. I understand things happen. But at the same time, this bill is covering up a lot of things that are happening from people who are the ones doing the actions and not the ones that are being targeted from the actions. So in my opinion, until there is an apology, not only to me, but to people who actually don't feel safe walking on campus now, I don't see where this bill would ever actually pass, because it gives a blanket statement for anyone to say whatever they want to and then call it bullying. While in my case, I'm getting death threats. I'm getting threats from who I am, what I believe in, when I'm just trying to make sure students at UNCG are safe, like you're trying to say that you're doing. That's all I have to say.
It wasn't really a question, but I will try to respond to some of the things.
Oh, no, sorry. It was a question. Why did you feel like you needed to write this when you have done the opposite of what this bill has done?
Are you accusing me of doing the opposite of what this bill is saying?
No, I gave you a question since you stated I didn't have a question. I was just fixing your language because I did ask a question. So I just wanted to make sure that.
As far as fixing language, this is not a bill, it's a resolution first off, but it is
Resolution, Bill. If you could just answer what I asked, that would be fantastic.
So I think that a lot of what has been on both sides. So from your perspective, of course, that is unfortunate that it happened, and it should not happen. Exactly. Like, we don't want that to happen. And I think a lot of that is what this resolution addresses. So it protects all students. It's not just students from one side or the other. And that's the way it's written. It's written for all students at UNCG. As far as making that line of distinction, I absolutely agree with what you said as far as making the line of distinction between what's bullying and harassment and what's freedom of speech. Disagreeing with other points of view and being able to have that open dialogue is not the same as going after someone or targeting them because of who they are or what they believe. And that has happened. There was actually a constituent that came to me with a case of sexual harassment against them because of an organization that they're part of. And that's happened within the last 3 weeks. There were things posted on the internet. There were things online. That there were flyers that were distributed across campus that were objectively obscene. I've actually received some ambiguous threats too, so I'm right there in the boat with you. I think it was one Friday a few weeks ago, I actually had to get security to escort me to class because I didn't feel safe going on campus. So I can relate to you in that. You're not alone.
I hear where you're coming from, where you're not alone, but I think you need to understand that while we may be on the same, while you may understand where I'm coming from as a white man needing security to get across campus, it is completely different when strangers who don't know me have my picture, my full name, and know what school I go to in the world that we're living in. I understand that you've probably gotten some backlash for your opinions or for organizations that you're with. That's what college is all about. But at the same time, being bullied is a lot different than being accountable for your words and for your actions. And I think that needs to be a clear line that is in this resolution, because there is a clear line between being held accountable for the words that you say versus being bullied and being harassed. So I would just ask that you think about that, and maybe that you talk to some of the individuals that have been on the receiving end of threats. I'm married and I've never seen my wife worried about me going to school because of death threats. And that's something I did not expect to have after everything that I've done. And it was because of a screenshot. So I just would like you to think of that in this area. I'm not saying this is a bad idea. I'm just would ask that you speak to the people that are that have had to deal with this on a daily basis and realize that freedom of speech is a right that
point of order. If y'all want to go into a period of discussion, we can, but if there's not any questions, we can.
My apologies.
You're good. You good.
My apologies. No. Yeah, that's all I have to say. My apologies.
Yeah, reminder that this is Q&A, so please try and keep it strictly to questions. That's everyone. Moving on, Shira.
So a couple questions. Are there specific scenarios or cases in UNCG's history of students being censored or attacked by SGA or UNCG as an institution censoring them? Are there cases that you can cite that back up the idea that students on campus have been censored or bullied by, well, essentially censored is the main thing I'm focusing on. And I would also like to know what your definition of bullying is in the case of this bill. And then I have a couple questions after that, depending on your responses.
Okay, so as far as the history is concerned, I guess within the last 3 weeks, as far as what's happened before then, I'm not really all that aware. I know a little bit of the SGA's history, but I think this is pretty specific to what we've seen happen. But really,
Just being fair, being a conservative on a liberal campus like this does make you feel like you can't go outside, especially with all the things. Granted, that dude did.
Hey, so who's talking?
But it's like Azaria,
Hey, can you?
I'm sorry, point of order. Somebody was talking. Can we let them talk before we speak over each other? We're all adults here.
Hey, Seem,
if another person would like to talk, I know they were speaking.
No. You have the floor, Tyler. I'm sorry, I'm speaking out, but hey, Seem, can we make sure that people are staying muted when someone has the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for making me a co-host. But nah, Tyler, you had the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you for Tyler.
I know I was saying, really, as far as what we're addressing, we want to look at the here and now and what has happened, and we want to prevent these sorts of things from happening going forward. So we're looking at all sides. It doesn't really matter what beliefs you hold. If we're allowed to have that discussion and that dialogue with each other, then that only makes us stronger. It's about being able to have a diverse community. I think that is truly the bedrock of who we are, about diversity and inclusion, that we're including all viewpoints in the process. So in the past few weeks, we have seen examples of things attempting to be censored, I think, both within and without the SGA. We want to prevent those kinds of things going forward. I'm not looking to finger point. I'm not looking to accuse people. I simply want to bring solutions to the table so that we can prevent this from happening going forward and make people's college experience better.
Okay. I appreciate your answer. I would also like to ask if, before writing this resolution, if you've done research on previous legislation by other universities passing resolutions or bills on their own campuses regarding freedom of speech on campus, or if you're aware or have read into North Carolina and the UNC system's personal statements and laws and rules that they have assigned for freedom of speech on campuses. I just want to make sure that you're aware of those things. And also, I feel like in a lot of cases, I guess I can go into this part in discussion, but those are my two main questions.
All right. You can respond, but please, as we're going through Q&A, please only ask 2 questions. And if you have follow-up, we'll circle back just so that make sure we can get everyone else in.
All right. Okay.
Did you have a response for that, Tyler, or no?
Do I have a response for it? I do have a response for it. So as far as seeing other colleges write resolutions about freedom of speech, I have not. This is sort of a generic idea that I had after all this happened, but I have seen other colleges do something which I put in the resolve clause, which is condemn certain things. They'll make a statement on important issues, an important topic at hand, because they feel like they need to allow their voice to be heard on that. As far as my experience with it, I was the state parliamentarian for North Carolina community colleges, so I have a little bit of experience with certain resolutions being passed before. Oh, you were asking about if I had looked into North Carolina laws for it. I actually have. North Carolina General Statutes, Chapter 116, Article 36. The Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina shall develop and adopt a policy on free expression that states at least the following. The primary function of each constituent institution is the discovery, improvement, transmission, and dissemination of knowledge by means of research, teaching, discussion, and debate. To fulfill this function, the constituent institution must strive to ensure the fullest degree of intellectual freedom and free expression. It is not the proper role of any constituent institution to shield individuals from speech protected by the First Amendment, including without limitation ideas and opinions they find unwelcome, disagreeable, or even deeply offensive. I will point out that it was mentioned that unwelcome and some of these other words to describe some of the speech that was used in the past few
Point of order, that's time.
Can I get a motion to extend for a 5-minute period?
I was done. That was my final word, unless there's other questions that need to be answered.
Riley?
Are we able to ask more questions now?
If we have to be motion to extend
Okay.
it.
Motion to extend the time by 5 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, can somebody give their time to Alexis? And please, everybody, make your at least make your questions 1 minute, not 1 minute, one question so we can circle back. Make sure everyone's getting in.
I yield my time.
All right, Alexis.
So we are
living in a time of challenges with academic like curriculums, discourse, where some of our actual politicians are defining the statement of known facts supported by academics in multiple fields as harassment and bullying. So in a setting of discourse, is this bill addressing the right of someone to, for instance, if someone says, the earth is flat, is this bill going to protect the other student's right to say the earth is not flat?
Of course, that right's definitely protected. It's that open dialogue that we want to have. But just, I think Edmund used a good quote the other day. It was something along the lines of free speech is not freedom from ignorance, or something along the lines of that. But it sort of reminds me of the saying, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. So really, we can have that disagreement. We can have that dialogue and still get along without turning to name calling and slander. So if someone says the earth is flat, like you said, you absolutely have the right to tell them that it's not flat and bring facts and logic to prove them wrong.
So follow-up question, how exactly, if the trend that we are seeing in politics right now is that some people are taking the earth is not flat to be bullying and harassment. So how is the university or SGA meant to take legitimate discourse, legitimate citation of academics, and legitimate use of credible sources to have respectful discourse? Like, if that's being taken as bullying, what is the university meant to do in that situation?
Well, I don't think that is being taken as bullying. Really, what's taken as bullying is the actual bullying that's taking place. That's just, really, that's just part of the dialogue and discussion that's being used. If they're bringing evidence for a certain position that they have, that's not considered in the bullying, and it wouldn't be considered so under this resolution.
Okay, Jakari.
Okay, so I just have a question. So this bill is basically saying that as SGA, we will support your right to free speech and expression at UNCG, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Very well.
Riley.
When talking about specific incidences on either with SGA or on campus, you keep referring to a specific example as over the past few weeks. Can you clarify so we can understand what, I guess, they have done that has not followed freedom of speech?
Thank you for asking this question. I've tried to stay away from specifics because I don't want to get into finger pointing. I think it distracts from the issue in general. But I can say that there have been efforts both outside and inside the organization, collaboration with both, to censor certain viewpoints and go after certain campus organizations for their beliefs. So, and this is part of making the distinction too. If certain members of the SGA want to have their own opinion on an issue, or they want to speak out against something, or a group of people, or an opinion, or state their own opinion for that matter, they absolutely have the freedom to do that. That's not what this resolution is addressing. What this resolution is against is the attempt to censor certain people and certain organizations for their beliefs, for their viewpoints. That's what we want to prevent.
I think my confusion is, I guess, the evidence to back up that they have been censored. By go after, do you specifically mean that they have been deliberately censored by SGA or the university?
There have been attempts to utilize the Student Government Association as a vehicle through which to censor campus organizations, yes.
Have they censored?
Have they censored? Well, they haven't been successful so far. And they won't.
So,
On order, that's time.
Okay.
This is the last time we can motion to extend time. Is there a motion on the floor for that? I see has arrived.
Motion to extend time one more time.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, everyone, please try and limit yourself to one question since we still have a lot of people asking one to ask questions. So one question, Jakari? Or is that just another X you had in the chat?
Oh, no, I was just putting another X in chat, but no, I'm good. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. As a right, since you already asked the question, I'm gonna go to Kendra and come back to you. Key? And can someone use their time to Key, please?
I give my time to Key.
All right, you have the floor.
So can you point out in the First Amendment where it gave you and the other YAF affiliates the right to put my name, my location, and my ID on a national racist page that I don't affiliate with? If you could pull up the First Amendment, point that out for me, please.
Well, the First Amendment actually doesn't have anything to do with that, but I can pull out some things that you've said in reference to me and myself and other people in YAF. And this is you as the Secretary of Community Affairs saying this about myself and other people in YAF. You said,
Yeah, pull it up. I can say it again.
so you said F you. Now I'll leave out any F experts here. F you at Tyler Holden. If anybody else in YAF, any brain ass organization, tell you that on the national article. I better be off that page by tomorrow on my mother, and I'm not playing at Tyler Holden. IDK who you need to talk to, but I suggest you call them tonight. Post that, post everything if you go and share screenshots. But this accusation was made just simply because I'm in YAF. So you're discriminating against me based off the fact that I'm a part of an organization. So essentially my beliefs and my viewpoints. But really, let's see. So another thing that you stated in discriminating against other people is you were talking about it's the Blacks and Hispanics in the organization for you. And you said you were embarrassed by the fact that they were in the organization. So you're discriminating against them on their race for the fact that they want to have their own viewpoints and their own beliefs. I mean, that's uncalled for. As the Secretary of Community Affairs, you should not be saying things like that and using the SGA chat to do it. And you were also looking at going after this through the Student Government Association to go after the organization YAF.
Did someone mute her or is she?
Sorry, was my name called? I apologize.
Hello?
So can he answer the question or no?
What? I think your internet went out.
So can he answer the question or no?
Can I answer the question as to whether it says in the First Amendment where screenshots?
That you gave, that your right was to put my stuff on your racist page. You and your other affiliates. That's what I said. I didn't just say you. I said you and. That means plural. You and other affiliates, not just Tyler Holden. You and. And it's not discrimination. You put my name up there. Fact, not a lie, not discriminatory. You put my name up there. Fact. So if you just can't answer the question, just say that. We can move on. I don't care about saying F you or none of that. I could say it again. So can you point it out or no?
No, because your question is irrelevant. Look, the matter.
My question is not irrelevant. It's
so
not
sorry.
Point of order.
Point of order. Please make sure please make sure we're being civil, everyone.
He can't be civil. He can't even answer the question.
I don't think they had screenshots in 1789 when the Constitution was written. So I mean, I just don't know how to.
Yeah, I didn't think it is. So why did you do that then? If this, you so anti-bullying, anti-harassment, why did you do
Point of order. Point of order.
Let me ask you this though. As the secretary.
Not your turn to ask questions. It's my Q&A. I asked. You got the answers. Not your round. It's my turn. It's not your Q&A. It's my Q&A.
See, I mean, there's all this talk about accountability, but Where's the accountability?
I said I'm accountable. I did say F you. And I just told you I would say it again. Accountability. Where's your accountability for putting my name up on your racist page? Pull it up.
On the order, that's time.
I'm accountable.
Should be
Can you
offended.
hear? Am I muted?
I'm calling them racist and white supremacists.
On the order, that's time.
We're moving forward. We're moving into discussion at this time. If there's anything about the piece that you want to discuss or fix, please use the chat. All right, looks like Riley. Actually, no, sorry. Yeah, it is Riley.
I believe that this document is kind of contradicting to, not contradicting, but it's basically already affirmed in UNCG 1A rights because it's legally required to state that and support that. And SGA also has to by default for working with the university. Is this, never mind, that's gonna be a question if I ask it. Do you understand like what I'm trying to say though?
As far as it being contradictory, or as far as
Like the university already states that like legally that it has to protect this right, and SGA has to as part of the university. So I guess can I ask a question? No, I can ask a question. Okay. Then that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I see what you're trying to say, I think, but I think this is a point that Edmund brought up as well. He brought up a lot of good points when I first submitted this to him. He can barely hear me. I wonder why that is. I don't know if I'm having a problem.
What's the point of the document?
The point of the document is to reaffirm freedom of speech and expression at the University of North Carolina.
But it's already being affirmed. It's basically you're taking this and you're restating a rule that's already in state. Like it's not contributing toward.
We're in a period of discussion, so we're not asking questions anymore.
My apologies.
They're saying that they're having trouble hearing me. I'm not sure what that issue is. If it's with the microphone or can you guys hear me?
That's a lot better.
It is a lot better now.
Yes. Jordan.
Hi, yes, can y'all hear me? Okay. So, I just wanted to say that this is not a question, but just in that conversation that you were having with Key, you were condemning her for saying what she said in the group chat, but at the same token, you're asking all of us to basically allow freedom of speech, which is actually going back to Riley's point about how we basically already have that being stated. So I don't really understand exactly what you're saying. Like it's kind of a bit of hypocrisy in your statement. And I also just wanted to say that you said that when you were saying that she was the chair of community and everything else, and you used the word blacks, I don't like that word blacks and being talked to like that. So maybe if you can come from a different standpoint or different way and kind of educate yourself a little bit more, rather than just being ignorant and saying, well, if you're sitting on this chair, then you shouldn't be saying that, then maybe people can understand. But also just when you were answering Riley's question, she asked you, you said that you are reaffirming freedom of expression, but freedom of expression for who? And that's not a question. That's just going to be an inquiry that I'm going to leave out there just because I did support what you were saying in the legislation on paper, but the way you're talking to people in the question and answer, it doesn't back up what you're saying at all on the piece of paper. So for who? That's your inquiry. I think you need to sleep on that. And I think that a lot of people would support it if you had come that way. Thank you.
I see your concern, but as far as the wording of things, I was quoting her. This is actually words that she used. So as far as you're being offended by me saying that, you're really being offended by her saying
But
that.
she's black and you're white. So there is a difference for her saying blacks and you saying blacks. If you don't see the difference, then you are the problem.
Well, I'm just quoting her from what she said in the chat. But I can quote her on something else she said also. She said, this is why people get beat up. You can't.
Point of order, we cannot do this. Like, it should strictly be about the document, strictly the document, strictly the bill, strictly the bill.
My point is violence being called for should not be tolerated. If we're calling for violence within the SGA chat, that's a problem.
Who threatened you?
Andrew, you
Can you please let him finish? Because he's lying. So let him
Sorry.
finish.
So let me.
I didn't threaten
look,
nobody.
So, I'm sorry, Saheem, but can I talk?
I can sue you their time.
I yield my time.
Yeah. So, we can keep moving forward with discussion, but I would just strongly, like, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably just gonna be a heated discussion because like people feel so strongly on this topic, which I appreciate on both. Like, you know, if you feel strongly about a topic, you should definitely speak up on it. You should use your voice at all times whenever you feel like you have an opinion about something. So I do appreciate all of you all for doing that. But let's just try to keep it I don't know the right word, but just try to keep it
respectful.
Professional.
Yeah, professional, respectful. Thank you, Tilani. And that's just for everyone. But yeah, we could go ahead with discussion. I mean, I like the discussion that's happening, but let's just try to take a deep breath, everyone.
The point of order, that's time.
Does that take up time?
Yeah. Can I get a motion?
You good, bro?
Can I get a motion to extend time?
Motion to extend time if I can be able to put my point.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Where are we at? In the chat. I believe next is Shira.
Hi. So this isn't directed directly at anybody. This is just a general statement that I'd like to make in regard to this piece to the whole assembly of the SGA. I want to go back to the point that Alexis made during her questions about the idea of bullying kind of being used as a subjective term nowadays. I'd like to also go back to the idea that a lot of these terms and the idea of the university and the SGA being called to condemn a specific action by a student is not the responsibility of UNCG or the SGA. It's our responsibility to remain a neutral party and protect the rights of all to speak. And so my concern with this bill is that it allows for people who are being disagreed with to have more power than the people who are trying to debate or criticize the other party, because it allows for them to use and have access to subjective terms within a formal resolution, have access to subjective terms that could inherently prevent either minority student groups or other student groups from speaking or replying to other student organizations or students that they disagree with on campus. So this isn't a direct comment or a question to the writer. This is a direct statement to the whole of SGA, is where I see the problem lies in this piece of legislation. And so I just wanted to call everyone's attention to that fact.
Alexis, if somebody can please use their time to Alexis.
I yield my time to Alexis.
Alexis.
Thank you, Jordan. This is also kind of a general statement. I think it's important to acknowledge there was reference to organizations, people being sexual assault and organizations having a correlation and people having their sort of names related to that. This trend, I think it should be said, it sounds like it's related to fraternities and Greek life. Specific organizations have reputations, some of them nationally, for reasons. And we allow those organizations to exist, but there's not much that can be done for the reputation of something like that. So when a person joins a certain organization and it is well known that, or has any kind, is part of any kind of group, if you're part of any kind of group, and it has a certain reputation, I don't think there's much that can be done about like having this sort of idea about it. And I'm not talking about stereotypes. I'm talking about values and morals associated with what is objectively part of an organization. If that organization has a reputation and people disagree with it, that's just a part of life. There's not much that UNCG can do to, for instance, defend the entire Greek, defend stereotyping of Greek organizations, especially when these trends aren't being challenged by the organizations themselves, and also victims of certain the things that they are kind of being associated with them get silenced, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's really important to keep in mind the what is being protected, and like we're talking about sides here. There's a reason that things get the reputation that they do, because of how each side is treated. And as Araya mentioned, this scale of bullying and harassment, there is a big difference when what you're being bullied and harassed for has something to do with something that is a more, well, a characteristic about yourself that you cannot change versus something you believe in. People are going to disagree, and the world has its feelings about certain organizations, and that's just kind of a part of life. And again, this is not to justify anything that has historically been poorly characterized and used as an excuse for discrimination. I also heard what could be better called as disrespect being called discrimination. Discrimination is not simply being rude to someone. Discrimination is based off of unchangeable things and sort of societal biases that are reinforced with structural changes and disparities and things like that. It's not the same as just being disrespectful. So I think it's really important to keep in mind, if you leave this university and you, for instance, are part of an organization and people associate you with what the organization is associated with, then that's just a part of life. And it's not something that I think we're talking about also distracting from issues. I think there are other issues on campus that are easier to protect, easier to actually like address, and also more pressing, since we don't have any evidence for this issue being a big issue on campus or UNCG doing anything to challenge freedom of speech, besides sort of vague points from the last few weeks. I think there are other things that could get our attention and need our attention more than this.
Okay, how much time do we have, parliamentarian? Michael.
That's the time.
Can I get a motion to extend this discussion?
Motion to extend discussion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, everyone, please try and limit your discussions and maintain it to this bill. That way everyone can have a fair chance to go and speak what they want to say. Jordan, do you have another point, or can I, since you already went, I'm gonna keep on moving. I will come back just because I'm trying to get everyone in. Azariah.
Thank you, Saheem. I just wanted to note that I had read this bill prior to the meeting or this resolution, excuse me. And I did want to note that all of the things that you've listed, Tyler, are already in the student handbook and a part of UNCG's policy. All of these things are already things that students are allowed to have knowledge of and are supposed to have in their pocket. I do want to speak on just one little moment about this bill. You brought up screenshots and continued to speak to an individual I would consider a friend, Keandra, about screenshots. Yet I didn't hear any conversations about the screenshots of me being called a faggot, I didn't hear any screenshots about me being told that I deserve to die. I didn't hear any screenshots shown that I was an abomination, nor did I see any screenshots in the bill that the protection of me and my family due to being posted on a webpage would be noted. I understand that a difference of opinion is hard nowadays. I understand that being right wing or left wing can come with its own sort of discussions, and I see where you're trying to have a discussion. I would just urge you, not only as a white man, but as a conservative white man in a group full of individuals that all have different backgrounds and different belief systems, that you take a moment and you put yourself in our shoes. I don't know if when you go to bed tonight, if you have to worry about someone finding out where you live and being killed because you're married. I don't know if you have to worry about walking to your car at night. And I also don't know if you have to worry about if having a conversation on a GroupMe with people who you would consider safe would be used as a weapon against you in any way possible. This resolution is already a part of UNCG's policy, and it would be my recommendation that if you feel that you think UNCG needs to change that, that is the job of UNCG and the Dean of Office of Students Affairs, and not the job of SGA. And that is noted in both the Dean of Students Office in their handbook and in the student handbook for you to reach out to. SGA is not the place for this to happen. And I would encourage you, next time that you do decide to take a screenshot, can you please make sure that they get my pronouns correct, because it is she, they, I am not a he. And that was done out of vicious attempt. They're more than welcome to call me she, hey, they, or queen of all the gays, but I am not a he. So if we can just make sure that that is how we go forward. I think you have a good heart. I just really think you need to have a sit down conversation with the people that you have impacted today, and the people that you have had a lasting impression on, and have those hard conversations. No one's asking you to change. No one's telling you that you can't be conservative. But what I'm asking you is to no longer refer to the individuals in SGA as Blacks, to no longer to refer to anyone as a faggot, and to no longer speak to women the way that you spoke to myself today or any other individual here in SGA. We all have earned our spot. We all have won our elections, and we all deserve to be respected just as much as you do. With that being said, respect is not given, it is earned. And I hope that at some point you can redeem yourself.
Point of order. Try and keep the discussion.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm done. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Where's your thing?
Again, please make sure you're keeping this strictly to the bill.
I have to respond to something she said. I really want to keep this to the bill, but they keep bringing it back to things that are just not really. So
Tyler, you're gonna have to move your mic again. Nobody can hear you.
I would really like to. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
I would really like to focus on this bill, but I mean, I know things keep.
Point of order. That's time.
All right. We can move into. I can take a motion to table this to next week.
Same, can I make a motion?
Yes.
Just because it's obvious that this piece really does not have a place in Senate, being that we already have First Amendment, motion to table this piece indefinitely.
Second.
This piece has been tabled indefinitely.
You gotta ask for dissent, bro.
Yeah, I did.
You were probably muted.
Oh, any dissents?
I dissent.
All right, since there's a dissent, we have to move into voting to whether this piece will be tabled indefinitely or move forward.
Motion to vote by roll call?
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Michael, it's on you.
All right, same as last time. When I call your name, you can say yes or no, or you can abstain. Brandon Monroe. Ramira Perry. David Gonzalez Hernandez.
Yes.
Haley Jordan.
Yes, please table this indefinitely.
Riley Croissant.
Yes.
Tulawanami Devayo Doherty.
Yes.
Seven Fierce.
Yes.
Shania Clark.
Yes.
Cameron Ziegler.
Yes.
Joshua Brown.
Yes.
Soniki Singhal.
Yes.
Shira Snyder.
Yes.
Jakari Hudson.
No.
Tim Fang.
No.
Tyler Holden.
No.
Jack Stevens.
No.
Azariah Journey.
Yes.
Elijah King. Mara Crenshaw.
Yes.
Jeremy Brown.
Yes.
Edmund P. Gayton.
Yes.
Mason Newcomer.
No.
Leslie.
Yes.
Saloni Shaw.
Yes.
Kennedy Green.
Yes.
Let me count up the votes really quick.
Michael, I think you missed a few people they're saying in chat.
Yeah, it looks like you missed Riley and Jasmine.
We called.
Diana.
Diana Martinez.
Yes.
Riley Corsart.
Yes.
Did I get everybody's name? Oh, wait, I missed one more. Jasmine Israel.
Yes.
All right, let me count these votes up. SR 9909 will be tabled indefinitely with a vote of 20 yeses, no abstains, and 5 noes. Thank you all for participating.
Tyler,
I'll be invoking Article 6, Section 7 of our Student Government Association Constitution entitled Protests, where it states, any member of the student body reserves the right to object to any official action by the Student Government Association, and the objection must be entered into the minutes.
okay. Evan,
Motion to take a 2-minute recess.
is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any dissents? All right, this is a 2-minute recess. You can turn your cameras off, but please be back by 9:02. Thank you. All right, everyone, it is 9:02. We will continue to move Senate forward. Now we're introducing SR 9910. This is authored by Sherry. You have the floor.
Thank you. A resolution to be entitled Reaffirming Student Inclusivity and Safety at UNCG. I guess I'll just go down to section 1. Section 1, the Student Senate of UNC Greensboro Student Government Association adopts the following resolution. Whereas the University of North Carolina at Greensboro is known for its diverse campus. Many of us know that we are in fact the most diverse campus in the UNC system, with a wide array of students from a variety of backgrounds, cultures, races, ethnicities, religions, gender, and sexual identities, and other beliefs. UNCG strives for students to feel safe and included on campus, regardless of their views. And whereas it is the responsibility of the Student Government Association of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro to help support the university and its mission to create a safe and inclusive environment for all students and their ability to speak and self-express their ideas. However, whereas not all students hold the same views and opinions, but this does not relinquish the personal rights of students to express, protest, or disagree with their fellow students. This is all under the protection of the North Carolina General Statutes, Chapter 116, Article 36. Whether it be expression of opinions online or in person, the right of the students at UNCG to express their views should be inclusive and safe for all students, whether they agree with each other or not. And whereas to limit or prohibit the ability of students to respond, protest, or advocate for their ideas in response to others goes against the rights granted to us by the Constitution and upheld by North Carolina and this University System of North Carolina. For UNCG stands for the inclusion of all students' views and perspectives on campus, even those that do not agree. And whereas for students to be proud of UNCG and its high level of diversity on campus, and for this to be maintained on campus, it is essential for students to learn and grow into contributing members of the community. Making sure all views are included allows for students to learn to respond and defend their own views when necessary. Be it resolved, upon passage of this resolution, the Student Government Association of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro will reaffirm to all students that their right to express their ideas, speak, protest, debate, criticize, and discuss their views on campus can be done in a safe and inclusive environment. No student's right to safe and inclusive exchange of ideas on campus will be inhibited by the SGA of UNCG.
We can move it to appear of questions, question and answer. Jakari.
Hi, isn't this already like a thing? Like we already have that in the student handbook?
Yes. This would be us stating to all students and reiterating to them in light of the climate of the current United States and the climate of campus currently. This is reaffirming to all students their ability to voice their opinions in regards to, for example, the mask mandate being lifted on campus. Students have the right to express their opinions and protest on campus as they have for so many years. This is just reaffirming to all students the idea that they feel safe and comfortable with the idea of expressing their ideas on campus.
So I totally agree and I get that. However, I feel as if we just shot down a piece of legislation that, and this is going off of that, even though it's not relevant, I do apologize. That was basically stating that similar.
Try to keep it to a question. That seems more like a statement.
Oh no, it's a question at the end. If you let me finish, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So my question is that when in that bill, the way I read it, it was that we are reaffirming to students the right of freedom of speech and expression. And then we're also doing the exact same thing in this bill. So my question to you is how do you influence those who supported that bill to also support this bill when it's similar to the exact same one, as in reaffirming, even though it is in the student handbook?
Well, my goal here is not necessarily to convince anybody from the other bill to support my resolution over the other resolution. My presentation of this resolution was because I saw that even within SGA, there seems to be a lot of tumultuous feelings. And I wanted to make sure that people, regardless of background, felt comfortable and empowered to speak their mind, whether it be in the SGA student forum, whether it be on campus, whether it be to other students online, it doesn't matter. I wanted to make sure that there was no underlying misunderstandings for students to feel empowered with their voices on campus.
Thank you.
Tyler.
Just looking at same as Jakari was, he brought up an excellent point, and that's that. I mean, this is very similar to the resolution that I wrote, and I saw that this was actually in live earlier this morning, so I figured you wrote it because you saw mine. It's just the parallels are so similar. I can't help but ask: did you consider like plagiarism? I mean, of mine when you thought of that? Because even down to the title, it's like mine was reaffirming free speech and expression. This is reaffirming safety and inclusion at UNCG. So it's just oddly similar.
So in regards to your question, I use the word reaffirming because this is a statement already made in the UNCG handbook. I wanted to make sure that students were aware that this is a message that UNCG already presents, and this is a message that SGA already presents. So the idea of this resolution being reaffirming, I do acknowledge that they're the same word, but I think the intention of the meaning behind that word of telling students that information is already out there for them. And this is in regards to just the atmosphere on campus, as I have noticed from both online in, of course, the UNCG Discords, and of course on campus when you just walk around campus and even just talk to students, whether they be undergraduate or graduate students, there seems to just be this atmosphere of people feeling uncomfortable. And I wanted to reiterate the idea that UNCG is an inclusive environment for all students. Being one of the most diverse campuses in the UNC system, it's important for students to recognize that.
Mason.
Hi, so I might just be misunderstanding, but you said reaffirming as in it's already a policy. So why do we need a piece of budget?
Is there a motion to extend time?
Motion to extend time for another 5 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mason, continue.
Why is there a need for a piece of legislation? Can we not just send out an email reaffirming students versus writing and passing this legislation? Because to me, I just feel like it may look like we're doing this, so we look like we're doing something when in actuality, we're not doing anything other than just saying, look at this.
That's a great question, Mason. I agree there should be an email sent out, and I think there was an email sent out by Student Affairs on February 18th regarding free speech on campus. I wanted to make sure that students were aware, because the sentiment that I've been receiving from students is that they see the SGA as more of a like performative body, and that we haven't really reassured students that we recognize their ability to speak on campus. And I think it's extremely important for students to realize that we want to include them. We want them to feel safe in expressing their ideas and expressing who they are on campus. And I think by passing this resolution, or even just sending out an email on behalf of the SGA, or making posts, or trying to encourage students to understand that we are here for them and we are looking out for them. In fact, many students actually are signatories on this bill from the general student population, because they feel it is very important as members of the student body that all students should feel comfortable and safe on campus. But I agree. I think sending out an email on behalf of the SGA would be a fantastic idea.
Jakari.
Hi, so I had a question. I actually lost my train of thought, so Azariah could go before me. If you want to circle back to me.
Azariah.
I realized that what I thought was a question was actually for the discussion period, so I will wait for that if that's okay, sir.
Okay, Jakari.
My question is for the legislative committee. Do we so our job is to review legislation before it's put on the floor, or can we just write legislation and then put it on the floor?
Per the Constitution, you technically have the right to present documents on the floor.
And I would also like to add, I did show this to Edmund before presenting it, and I also did run it by Haas and several other members of the Senate. So this was not just I wrote it and then presented it to the Senate. I would just like to add that.
No, that's totally fine. I was just concerned because I know when I write legislation, we normally hold a whole meeting about it, and then we vote if it should be put on the floor or not. I didn't know that I could write legislation and then put it on the floor. So that's interesting to me. I like that, and I'm going to start doing that. I just didn't know that we could.
Tyler.
on Ari's point, I think that's great also. I mean, I thought we had to get legislation through legislative committee before it could come to the Senate first. Like, is this legislation being given precedence for some reason? And also, can I be added as an author since she pretty much plagiarized this piece from me?
Can I please speak for a second? I apologize. And I don't mean to cut you off, Tyler. She did not plagiarize this piece. I actually helped her write this piece. I didn't know that your piece existed. So if we could stop using the term plagiarism in an academic sense, I would greatly appreciate it, because you're accusing her of doing something that not only could get her suspended and have a huge impact on her academic career, but it is unprecedented. It has no bias and no truth to it. So no, she did not in any way plagiarize this. I hadn't seen your piece until I read it after the fact, and I was the one who helped her write this piece. So no, in no way did she plagiarize this at all. So if we can
No
stop
order.
that term.
All right. There's Evan.
Yeah, so just for clarification, anyone in Senate, you as senators have the right to put things to the floor of Senate if you so choose. However, I will be frank, most of you, I do not recommend this, as you all do not have the skill set yet to write legislation without it being reviewed. If you think you do and you want to do that route, you can. However, there might be and probably will be multiple flaws in your piece of legislation. That is why the legislative committee is existing, so we can review it and have an extra set of eyes. Most pieces of legislation, if they do get if they get brought to the floor, they ultimately will end up getting tabled to the legislative committee in some capacity so that we can look at it. But senators have the right to present it to the floor, though for most people in Senate, being that this is their first go around, I do not recommend that, as you are not ready to do that.
Point of order, that's time.
I think we can extend it one more time. Is there a motion to extend since there's still X in the chat? Jakari,
Motion to extend.
is there a second?
Second.
All right, and then I see you have another X as well. Go ahead, Jakari.
Thank you for that clarification, Edmund. I think that it's very important that when we are looking at legislation in the legislative committee, that we are being frank and fair. I know I read a piece of legislation and there was multiple flaws even after the legislative committee. So I no longer trust the legislative committee to look over my documents.
Point of order,
But
is this a question? Is this a question?
I was following up, like he followed up.
Point of order, this isn't a follow-up, this is a statement.
Okay, well, I'm statementing like you, I'm making a statement like you made a statement. But that's all I have to say. I say that when certain bills are put through the legislative committee, they're not looked at as serious by the chair. And I've noticed that.
Point of
So
order,
I'm
if
just
you're
putting
not
that out
asking the question, then
Thank you, that's all.
Riley,
That was just a motion to extend the time.
if there is no further motions, I will entertain a motion to move in discussion. Jasmine,
If there are no longer questions, motion to end discussion and move to, yeah, never mind.
move the Q&A and Q&A to move to discussion.
Yeah, that.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, we are now in a 5-minute period of discussion. Please make sure you keep it related to the bill. Riley,
Friendly amendment to change my name spelling from R-E-I-L-Y to R-E-I-L-L-Y.
why? Like that?
Thank you.
R-E-I-L?
Mhm.
Oh, and I'm going to say this now. Can we move Awa to the signatories? I put her in the sponsored by accident.
Jakari,
So since this is in the student like, this is all plastered all throughout UNCG, Dean of Students handbooks, do you think that we could possibly send out an email like Mason said, rather than passing a piece of legislation to to reiterate what has already been said.
That's like sort of like a question. We're in discussion. If the author would like to add this as like a further enacted clause so that another email can be sent, you can say that. But since it's a discussion, it's more of like adding things. So if you want to add that to the enacted, you have to get clearance from the author if you want that to happen. You get what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So do you want that added as an enacted clause?
No, I would not.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Tyler?
Given the similarities between this resolution and the last one, I just want to say before this is voted on, when it is voted on, I just want all of you to think about why you would have opposed the last resolution and support this one, given all of their similarities in their purpose, the purpose behind them, and the intent. Thank you.
Yeah, Tyler, you're gonna have to either move your microphone closer to where you and speak, or pick up your laptop because your microphone might be on the bottom of it, and say it again.
So I really, I just wanted to point out to people considering voting for this resolution, if you do vote for it, think about why you would support this resolution and yet be against the last one, given their similarities and the parallels behind their intent and behind their purpose. Did you hear me that time?
Yeah, that was a lot better. Did everybody? Personally, for me, I heard you that time, so it was a little bit better.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Evan?
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, though my credibility is fundamentally flawed, apparently, but I do want to say that I did look over this, and I do want to say, though some aspects of these two resolutions are similar, they are both fundamentally different at the same time. The one before was, the intent behind it was much different. You can see the intent versus this one, where this one is very broad and it's not condemning, and the language in it is different. So though it might be saying the same stuff, it's still not the same piece of legislation. So I would highly encourage that we stop making comparisons, because they're not the same. They might be similar, but they are two separate pieces by two separate authors with two separate intents. And also, Shira, could you add me as a sponsor for this bill, please?
Yes.
All right. Azariah?
If there are no more questions, move to have a second reading for this motion and vote by roll call. I think I said that right. I don't have my little placard in front of me because I'm not.
It will be motion for a second read.
Motion for a second read, please.
Are there any seconds? Any dissents?
I dissent.
There is
I dissent.
There is two dissents. We will have to.
I did hear. I'm sorry. I did hear a couple seconds before I heard the dissents.
Even if there is seconds, if there's,
Okay.
we'll still have to go into vote.
Okay. Can we vote by roll call, please?
Yes, this vote will be either to vote for a second read or not to do that.
Sounds good. Thank you for teaching me how to say things.
It's all right.
I appreciate it.
Michael, it's on you.
All right, same as last time. Brandon Monroe, Ramira Perry, David Gonzalez Hernandez,
Yes.
Riley Corsant,
Yes.
Haley Jordan,
Yes.
Talawanami Debayo Doherty,
Yes.
Savin Fierce,
Yes.
Shania Clark,
Yes.
Diana Martinez,
Yes.
Cameron Ziegler,
Yes.
Joshua Brown,
Yes.
Sonaki Singhal,
Yes.
Shira Snyder,
Yes.
Jakari Hudson,
No, sir. Thank you.
Tim Fang,
No.
Tyler Holden,
No.
Jack Stevens,
Abstain.
Jasmine Israel,
Yes.
Azariah Journey,
Yes, please.
Elijah King, Mara Crenshaw,
Yes.
Jeremy Brown,
Yes.
Edmund P. Gayton,
Yes.
Mason Newcomer,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Saloni Shaw.
They had to step out.
Okay. Kennedy Green.
Yes.
All right, and I'm gonna take a second to count the votes. SR 9910 will be tabled for a second reading with a vote of 19 yeses, 1 abstain, and 3 noes. Thank you all for participating.
Just for the second read now. We can go into a second reading. Is that the motion you made, correct?
That is correct.
Tyler, you have X in the chat.
I will yet again be invoking Article 6, Section 7 of our Student Government Association Constitution entitled Protest, where it states, any member of the student body reserves the right to object to any official action by the Student Government Association, and the objection must be entered into the minutes.
Okay. Let me share my screen. This is back for a second reading. I can entertain a motion to view as read since we already read it.
Motion to do what Saheem just said.
Is there a second?
Second.
Riley.
I was going to motion.
Okay, Edmund.
Being that we just read this motion to move into a vote by roll call.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, Michael, it's on you once and again.
All right, when I call your name, y'all know the drill by now. Brandon Monroe, Ramira Perry, David Gonzalez Hernandez,
Yes.
Riley Corsart,
Yes.
Haley Jordan,
Yes.
Tolowanami DeBio Doherty,
Yes.
Seven Fears,
Yes.
Shania Clark, Diana Martinez,
Yes.
Cameron Ziegler,
Yes.
Joshua Brown,
Yes.
Sonaki Singhal,
Yes.
Shira Snyder,
Yes.
Jakari Hudson,
No, sorry.
Tim Fang,
Abstain.
Tyler Holden, Jack Stevens,
Abstain.
Jasmine Israel,
Yes.
Azariah Journey,
Yes.
Elijah King, Mara Crenshaw,
Yes.
Jeremy Brown,
Yes.
Edmund P. Gayton,
Yes.
Mason Newcomer,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Saloni Shaw,
Saloni had to leave.
Kennedy Green,
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna count the votes.
Michael, are you good?
SR 9910 will pass with a vote of 18 yeses, 2 abstains, and 3 noes. Thank you all for participating.
Tyler,
Once again, I'm going to invoke Article 6, Section 7 of the Constitution. Just as the first previous 2 times, just make sure it's in the minutes. Thank you.
moving forward. Executive Council reports. President Mengesha.
Sorry, man. Appreciate you, seeing. Yeah, so basically what I've been up to is usual executive council meeting with Peyton, Saheem, Aaron, and Meredith. On Wednesday, I also helped conduct a UNCG police interview. That was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that last week. One-on-one with Isabella. I think we had it. I can't really remember. It's been a long week. I'm sorry, yo. It was scheduled though. But I had pictures with Chief Boyce on Thursday for that article we wrote. Came out to Malcolm X, that Black History Month movie night put together by Mara. Incredible. It was a lot of stuff I learned that I didn't know about Malcolm X. So I appreciate Mara for putting that together, and everyone who helped with that. Everyone who helped volunteer as well. Tyler, Diana, Grace, the PR team. So thank you all for that. And then ASG weekend. So at the same time of the movie, I had to me and Kendall were on ASG. So that was fun. A couple updates about that I said I would give. So in terms of ASG as a whole, Kendall will be giving that full report during cabinet reports, but I can tell y'all in terms of the mask mandate that was recently lifted. So we were told by our UNC system student body president, Ray Palma, that after the Board of Governor meetings that occurred during the week last week, that President Hans, who was the president of the UNC system, had basically required the chancellors of all 17 schools to lift mask mandates by March 7th. To some of y'all, this may be a surprise, but I can tell you all that I guess the past 2 or 3 weeks, this trend has been occurring, starting with Roy Cooper, our state governor. He made that formal recommendation for counties to begin lifting their mask mandates. You can listen to his explanation on that. And so President Hans made the similar requirement. I also had a call with Dr. Akins where she kind of told me this stuff before the email got sent out, and I had the opportunity to ask her some questions. I can let you all know that basically, this whole thing had been, I guess, looked after from the beginning of the semester, from the beginning of the year, I could say, trying to see when the trend would go, where the trend would go, when mask mandates would be lifted. And I can tell you that UNC Greensboro probably did not have the intention of lifting the mask mandate this early. It was going to be more of a trickle effect, allowing it in some areas, like mandating in classrooms and, as such. But so it is a system-wide requirement. That is why we're following it, and that is why it is March 7th. So that is going to be across the system as a whole. If you have any further questions on that, want to talk about it, need answers, you can let me know. I have another one-on-one with Dr. Akins coming up, and also I do have my one-on-one with Chancellor Gilliam when we come back from break. So if there's anything you all want me to ask, please reach out to me. And then something else that has been mentioned that I should report on is graduation. A lot of seniors, like when I say a lot, it's been a lot, have been emailing me with concerns that names will not be called or students will not be allowed to walk across stage during the spring May 2022 commencement ceremony. Had a couple conversations about that as well. I can let you all know that traditionally, well, it's kind of weird to say this because none of us were actually here the last time they had a full May commencement. So, it's kind of finding that type of information has been kind of hard, believe it or not. But to my knowledge, traditionally, they have not called names at May 22 commencement because of the large amount of students who tend to graduate during that time, as opposed to the December commencement. So that has traditionally not been held, but to do that, individual departments have held ceremonies traditionally. So they hold their individual ceremonies, call names, people walk across stage. But shout out to Senator Cameron, did some digging and found out that communications department did let her know that they will not be holding their individual departments. So me and her are going to be working on finding out what departments are not, why, and try to fix some of that issues, for all my seniors. Y'all been working hard. So, we want y'all to be recognized. Other than that, that's it for the reports on that end. Had executive cabinet meeting on Monday. It went well. Talked about our initiative weeks, and speaking of initiative weeks, this week is our safety week. Shout out to Paige, did an amazing job during tabling yesterday. Thank you those who helped out. And then today the campus safety walk, which went amazing, and with our picture right there. Me and LaShonda I actually ended up doing 3 zones. LaShonda did 2 because we kind of got lost with our group, but amazing experience. Really just opens your eyes up on the inaccessibility of some areas on campus. I'm proud to say that UNC Greensboro is pretty accessible as a whole, but some things, and having different representatives from different groups really allowed us to see what needs to be changed, like and taught us things. So one thing I didn't know was if y'all see like the little yellow stuff near like the sidewalk is for blind people to realize that they're walking onto a sidewalk, which I didn't know about, which was pretty cool. Yeah, thank you, Paige. Shout out Paige again for that. And yeah, so that's what I've been up to. And as for what is coming up, see, you good. As to what is coming up, more interviews with UNCG police. I have another executive council meeting. My one-on-one with Isabella. Shout out Isabella. And then tomorrow, the Safe Spring Break event. I need everyone to show out to that. It's gonna be amazing. DJ Inflatables. Police department is also gonna have this like little goggles to show you like BACs and like all that type of stuff. So I've always heard about that. Never actually got to do that. So that's gonna be cool tomorrow. And then also SGA Police Department campus cookout occurring on Thursday. That's gonna be amazing. We need a good turnout for that. Let everyone know, your friends, and just so we can have a good time. And then we also, me and Key have a EC blood drive convo with Kathleen, just trying to get some of that stuff finalized, like our incentives and what we're bringing to the table. Real proud to be official sponsors for that. And then I have my one-on-one with Dr. Akins, and then spring break. Spring break. So, time for rest. Here's some pictures about pizza. These goofies, they went in on the pizza. I can't even lie, but like I said, it was fun to do campus walk. So shout out Paige for that. But yeah, other than that, that's it for my report. So let me know if y'all have any questions, if y'all need me to ask anything, if y'all need to talk about anything, just let me know. And yeah, y'all be safe. Have a good spring break if I don't talk to any of y'all by then. But yeah, that's it for me.
All right, Attorney General Peyton.
Hey y'all, I hope everyone's having a good week so far. So my office hours are there. Just let me know if you need to meet, and I will send you my office hours Zoom link. And if you prefer to meet in person, just let me know and I will make it happen for you. So yeah, there's my phone number, my email address. Just what I've been up to, conduct team meetings last week, student advisor, one-on-ones with my student advisors for conduct team, executive council meeting, like Haas mentioned. I've been working on my independent study project for social work, working on midterms. And then my picture today, I didn't really have any news for this week, but I got some cute little stamps of otters. So I thought they were nice, and it made my week a little bit brighter because I've been doing so much work over the past week or so. So hope everyone's having a good week so far. And then thank you, Saheem. Cool. So just coming up, meetings with Haas, Saheem, Meredith, and Aaron as needed. Executive council meeting tomorrow. Conduct team meeting tomorrow morning, bright and early. If you're on the call and you're on conduct team, see you there. Geek Week and conduct team recruitment week coming up right after spring break. So we're prepping for that. And then like Haas said, spring break, yay, y'all, we're almost there. And then my quote of the week is from Mitch Albom, and it says, devote yourself to the community around you and devote yourself to creating something that gives you purpose and meaning. And then really quickly, before we moved on, I just wanted to say something really quick. This has absolutely nothing to do with like the bills and everything, but I just want to make sure like everyone's being very aware of when they're abstaining from voting. This is not directed at anyone in particular, but you do represent constituents, and they're counting on you to vote the way that they would vote. So please just, be conscious of when you are abstaining, because that means that, your constituent's voice effectively isn't being heard. So if you have something going on where you miss the discussion or you're internet cuts out or something like that, and you feel like you can't responsibly vote on a piece, that's one thing. But if you're just abstaining for something else, just maybe try to reevaluate. So yeah, hope everyone has a good week and happy almost spring break.
My report. I have no picture this week, but I have my executive council meetings, talked with Alana. I did meet with Evan this week. I actually met with Nagla. We're working on our mental health forum that we're doing with Faculty Senate and Staff Senate. That program is going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. I will give more updates when that time's come, but we're going to be sort of spearheading a panel talking about mental health, how undergraduates, how mental health can affect undergraduates and their work ethic, as well as like any other thing, because a huge trend that's been seen around campus is that academics has been like kind of on a decline. So we're trying to figure out like where is the stress level or what's causing undergraduates to not succeed as they normally did. So we're going to be tackling it from a mental health standpoint, just to make sure everyone is being heard, as well as like some resources. So that's going to be a pretty good program. Classes, of course, executive council. I have another GSA, and SGA, and Faculty Senate meeting. I think that's Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Elections is coming up. So if you haven't completed your application, I think you have until tonight or tomorrow to submit it. And again, we're going to back to in-person meetings starting March 15th. So that's after spring break. Please try and get some rest over spring break, or like complete some homework or do something, but at least take 30 minutes to yourself to do something that you like, anything that's going to help you relax. Yeah. Senator forum. Any senator may speak up to 2 minutes at this time on matters pertaining to SGA. Mason.
Hi, I just wanted to talk to Finance Committee. I sent out an email and I would like a response by Thursday or Friday. And if you don't know my email, it is MWNEWCOM@uncg.edu.
Finance Committee, please respond to your chair. It is very important that you respond to your chair anytime they email, and that goes to all committees. If your chair is reaching out to you, please respond to them in a timely manner. Thank you. And this is for senators. When we go to announcements, we can talk. But since this is like senator forum, it's primarily for senators. So we're gonna circle back to you, Cameron.
Hi, as President Haas mentioned, I am trying to get in contact with different colleges on campus in regard to graduation. So if you would like to help with that with different colleges, just email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat. That will be very helpful.
All right, Shira.
So I guess I just wanted to say we have stuff coming in for Women's History Month this month. Mara and I are working on putting bags together to give out. The Social Justice, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee is working on putting together like a panel. So if any of you guys want to help out with that, I know Azariah talked to me about helping out with that. So if any of you guys want to help out with any of the initiatives going on for Women's History Month, feel free to reach out.
Evan.
Everyone, I just wanted to restate, so the legislative committee, the purpose of this committee is not to necessarily look at the contents of any pieces of legislation. It's simply to look at the grammatical format of it and the effectiveness of its implementation. And if it violates the Constitution or SOPs. Anytime legislation comes to my committee, if there's something I disagree with, I don't really say anything because that's not my job or my privy at that moment. It's just to make sure that it is grammatically right. If there's any issues with it, that is an author issue. With that being said, if anyone is interested in helping out with the legislative committee, it's come to my attention that there will be some vacancies. Please let me know. Love to have you on and love to help you out with your legislative writing process. If you're interested, you can just shoot me a DM on GroupMe and we'd love to have you.
Azariah.
Hey, Saheem. Sorry to talk out of order,
Oh,
but
go
I
ahead.
think Tyler was next after Shira, just so we keep order.
Oh, I see. Tyler.
They can go first. It's fine.
I'm sorry. The Zoom keeps pushing everything down. Azariah.
I just wanted to say how glad we all are that Edmund is back with us. We have missed your humor and your smile, and just wanted to let you know that we're excited you're back. Also wanted to just give a shout out to the media team and everyone who helped out this week. Y'all worked very, very hard. I saw you while I was helping out with the freshmen, and you guys were incredible. I had a lot of parents come up to me that were just so proud that their students were coming to UNCG and that they felt that the SGA were great leaders for them to look up to. I also wanted to bring up that we possibly are going to start getting some more dressier clothes together for students who can't afford like coat jackets or dress shirts or ties or anything along those lines for practice interviews. So if that's something you're interested in doing, please let me know. And I think that would be something that would be really great to do during Women's History Month as well. So, but thank you to the PR team and Mr. SGA, we're glad you're back.
Okay, now Tyler.
First off, I want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Bring it up, bring your mic a little bit closer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So a lot's been said tonight. I just kind of wanted to cover some of it. I can't cover all of it in 5 minutes, but I just wanted to say some things. So when I first set out to run for student government, I did so with the goal in mind of being part of something much larger than myself. I wanted to be a part of a group of dedicated students who aspired to make our university better for all students. When I finally joined SGA, I took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the Student Government Association at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, as well as to advocate, to educate, and to serve the student body. I've given it my absolute best to uphold this oath and to fulfill my role in representing all students. As we've seen recently, there's been a lot of polarization, a lot of division, and this chasm has acted to alienate many of our students. Well, I will not allow those students who are not as nameless and faceless as they feel that they are to be voiceless as well. The Student Government Association has a motto of being for the students and by the students. However, it has become clear to all of us, the Student Government Association, or many members on it, are in gross dereliction of their duty for not truly representing all students and actually taking it upon themselves to target individuals affiliated with certain campus organizations. My colleagues have shown that they have no interest in representing all students or making sure that students feel welcome. It's actually been insinuated by others in your Student Government Association that I should be impeached due to the fact that I'm part of YAF. It's been stated. Many things have been said. I've said some of them, I'm just gonna skip over that part. So accusations have been made against me without any evidence whatsoever. It's blatantly targeting a member of the SGA because of an organization which they are part of. However, despite this, I was also labeled with various adjectives by many other members of SGA for my being in YAF. A few have also voted over the group chat to remove me from the group chat because I'm in YAF. If you want to impeach me because I'm in YAF, then go ahead and do it. Go on ahead and cut the grass as you claimed that you would. I've upheld my oath. I've never said or done anything even remotely negative to any of you, and yet your hatred and hostility towards me persists. Don't just talk about impeaching me and try to intimidate me. If you're going to vindictively get rid of people through overturning the will of the students by removing their duly elected senator because of who they are and what they believe, then stop exhibiting cowardice and go ahead and show your true colors in front of everyone. You may not always agree with me, but nearly everyone who has ever been on the opposite side of an issue with me has never doubted that my position was never taken for the sake of popularity or expediency, but always for what I felt was right. All I have is my integrity, and you're trying to take that from me? Well, I have no intention of giving it up. Having said this, the targeting of certain students and organizations on campus due to their beliefs is absolutely unacceptable. If it can happen to one organization, it could theoretically happen to any of them. Imagine if it was yours. It's not right. The fact that we have allowed this to happen is a stain on the legacy of the Student Government Association. If a monolithic mindset with little diversity of thought has continued to enable certain individuals to use the name of the students as a vehicle through which to push their own hedonistic agendas, then the SGA has ceased to exist as an organization for the students or by the students. Its credibility has been forfeited, its legitimacy lost, and completely and utterly lost its purpose of being the voice of the students of the whole student body. Your student government, unfortunately, seems to be morally bankrupt. UNCG states of its values that it fully supports and values an inclusive community with meaningful diversity and representation. We seek to promote a climate of civility and respect where diverse viewpoints and experiences are welcome. UNCG is committed to protecting the rights of all to ensure that each person in our community is empowered, valued, and respected for their contributions to the mission of this university. If this university believes in diversity and inclusivity, which it says it does, then we need to be diverse and inclusive in all that we do. We as an organization should not be against anyone for holding certain religious beliefs. That is discrimination. If the mentality of purposely labeling or targeting certain individuals because of who they are or what organizations on campus they associate with, then there's a fundamental problem with our consistency and our supposed core value. This will be reflected through our place as student leaders in representing the whole student body. Unfortunately, the exact opposite has been reflected.
Point of order. Senator form is only 2 minutes long.
I thought it was 5 minutes.
It says 2 minutes on the slide.
It's 2. Announcement is unlimited, but senator form is 2.
Okay. So I can continue during announcements then?
If that's what you wish.
Okay.
Are there any more points in senator form? Any member of SGA may speak up to 2 minutes at this time with any announcements. Before you go, Tyler, I have to circle back to Awa because she put an X during senator form. So Awa.
I was gonna mention that the week after next is my academic policy week, and I was just going to promote that if anybody wants to volunteer for the week, there is 3 tabling days. One is the academic week tabling, which there's going to be stuff handed out to students just to promote the week. There's going to be insomnia cookies and stress balls. SGA stress balls and trivia questions. And then the second one is the Navigating Minerva's academic curriculum. And there's going to be prizes and stuff for students to get out. So if you want to participate in it. And then the last one is going to be the SGA Students First Day, which the APRC committee, which is the Academic Policy Regulations Committee, will be there. And then the Academic Achievement Center will be there as well. So if you want to table for these events, I think there's going to be a sign up genius sent tomorrow. So if you want to sign up, let me know. Thank you.
All right, now Tyler, back to you.
Thank you. To any student government officer that went along with this discrimination, if you had any respect for the office which you hold or for the students which you took an oath to serve, you would issue a sincere apology to them for violating that oath, for your dereliction of duty, for your being complicit with corruption, as well as your actions and statements unbecoming of SGA officers, and you would resign. As the SGA, we are supposed to be here to represent everyone. It is not our job to pick and choose which religious beliefs we allow on this campus. We are supposed to uphold the right to express freedom of thought and freedom of opinion. It is not your place to decide what can or cannot be discussed in the marketplace of ideas. We should be including all in discussion, not trying to censor people, not trying to silence people, not trying to shut people down. If we as a university truly are welcoming of all students, regardless of where they come from or the viewpoints they have, then why have there been deliberate attempts to try and attack and harass people for having those viewpoints? If diversity and inclusion truly are the bedrock of who we are, then why doesn't the SGA start showing it? The abundance of political correctness has led to the Marxist infiltration of our institutions. This has resulted in the stifling of free speech, of the freedom to peaceably assemble, the freedom of religion, and the freedom of thought and opinion. We as a college are considering banning an organization for holding an opinion that you just happen to disagree with. Is this America or is this communist China? I would expect this at Peking University in Beijing, China, but at a university in North Carolina, is this really what we're debating? It's outrageous that this is even having to be discussed as a topic tonight. Again, it's absolutely outrageous. I'm shocked. I mean, are we honestly saying that people who believe in central tenets of their faith, that they should be discriminated against because of it? Is this really the point we've gotten to at UNCG? YAF has done nothing wrong. Therefore, YAF has nothing to defend. On the contrary, you are the ones that have to respond and be held accountable for your despicable behavior. Many of us in YAF have felt threatened over the past few weeks due to concerning and ambiguous comments directed towards us individually. We have been slandered, insulted, and lied about. Some of us have been harassed, ostracized.
And Tyler, it's been 2 minutes.
I thought you said we had unlimited time.
No, it's 2 minutes. I apologize. I'm wrong again. It's on the slide.
So I probably would have went faster. I have other things to go through, but I mean, it's kind of imperative that I finish this. But is there another way that I can finish it?
There's always Instagram.
I don't think so. I'm trying to look at parliamentarian procedure. Parliamentarian. Yeah.
I would say what you can do is just wait until next time we have Senate, and then during Senate.
Excuse me, sorry. I know I'm talking out of order, but I have nothing to say. So can I yield Tyler my time?
Technically, yeah.
I think
that'll be another 2 minutes.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Tyler. You have 2 more minutes.
I really appreciate that, Jafari. So one thing worth pointing out.
I am sorry, Saheem. I think I was before Jakar.
There was no X. It was just
Oh.
him more time.
It's sent to the wrong person. I'm sorry. My apologies.
One thing worth pointing out is that YAF never tried to silence any of you, yet you're trying to silence them. The quintessential fact is that YAF welcomes respectful and civil discussion in the marketplace of ideas, as the university also claims to. And yet you are not being consistent with the values which our university claims to uphold. A college campus is where freedom of ideas should be supported, especially here at UNCG, where we claim to be for inclusivity and diversity, for respect and civility. And yet your actions and words prove that you are against inclusivity and diversity. And you've displayed anything but respect and civility. This body is supposed to represent all students. You're telling them that their deeply held religious beliefs and personal beliefs are not welcomed. That's discrimination. What's happening tonight and what you're saying is that this school is not for all students. This is profoundly the wrong vision for who we should be as fellow Spartans. I want to add that YAF has been more than just an organization that I'm part of. For me, it's been like family. I've never met more supportive, more caring, or more loving people than my friends at YAF. I'll be honest with y'all, this whole mess over the past 3 weeks has been difficult for all of us. We've all been affected by it in some way, and yet we have our own stories to tell. I've never seen a group of individuals come together and support each other, to care for one another, and to love each other, quite like YAF has. Throughout incendiary circumstances, we have come to be there for one another. Throughout our hardships, we have done everything we can to help one another. Throughout our uncertainties, we have given one another reassurance that all will yet be well. Tresha has a disposition parallel to none. Her openness and ardent passion towards those around her are unmatched. Austin is that best buddy who gives you a pat on the back when you need it the most. Casey is the sweetest, most kind-hearted person in the world. She's always the one to give you encouragement. You can count on her to have faith in you, even when you struggle believing in yourself. Nagar has the courage of a lion and the heart of gold. You have targeted members of my family. That says way more about you than it does about them.
That's time.
That is time. All right, Azariah. Remember, everyone, 2 minutes.
I don't really know what to say to that speech outside of you're more than welcome to feel the way that you need to feel. And you can have that. I would ask you to retract your statement of calling individual cowards and referring to UNCG as communist China when I have lost people overseas recently. My brother just came home from a war zone where he's an officer. So before you use language like that, please remember that you have individuals who have lost family members in war zones and who are fighting for the freedom that you feel like you are doing so by reading your manifesto for the last 10 minutes. Secondly, I do just want to note that you are speaking about things that you just don't understand, my friend. And I really, really wish that you would have a sit down conversation in a way with people who you might not disagree with. I don't know anybody in YAF, but I do know that there have been multiple people who have said things to me that are of YAF and have been extremely rude and threatening to me. I'm not saying you have. I've had good conversations with you. That being said, you know, you were voted in for a reason. I would check in with your constituents to see if what you're doing right now is exactly what they want their vote to be counted on, and then go from there. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Alexis?
I just want to mention the comment on language use here. The tolerance paradox. UNCG is not tolerant of any and everything under the sun. We are intolerant of hateful rhetoric. And as someone who knows trans commuters, I would definitely want to check up with them on whether or not they would agree with having someone that doesn't agree with their existence as a representative. There is a big difference between having an opinion such as, the earth is flat type opinion is not harmful.
Point of order, y'all.
Yes.
Point of order, y'all. This is strictly announcements. No rebuttal, no, strictly announcements.
Got you, Saheem.
All right. Oh, if you still have an announcement, please.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. If you have an announcement, just continue to go. If not, go ahead, Evan. Or do you retract your X?
No, let Haas go first.
Haas.
I mean, you funny. Anyways, hold on. My last was about right. Now I just want to say I don't see Jai's Jaisha's X in the chat, so I'm about to just make an announcement on her behalf. Jaisha is part of the. Let me make sure it's charged. All right, cool. Jaisha is a member part of the PR team. Greatest team alive. I am so proud of them. Yeah, she just wanted me to basically remind y'all of the email I sent. That's right. I did see your reply saying the link did not work, so I will get back to Sierra and them about that. But yeah, I mean it's Women's History Month, so we want to highlight that. So please make sure y'all fill out the form and get that done. But yeah, I just wanted to make that announcement on Jaisha's behalf. And then also, if y'all haven't met the PR team, I highly encourage y'all to come to the cubes and meet them. A lot of you senators, I do not see y'all in the cubes. I'm always over here. Like I'm literally, and it's a lot of people that's always over here. So, as a SGA, we want to build that sense of community, get tight knit, work together and just, have a loving culture. So, more people we see in the cubes, that's where we build a lot of friendships. So, if you don't come to the cubes, you're really missing out. So I just would really highly encourage y'all, if y'all have the time in your schedule, obviously. But yeah, other than that, meet our PR team. And then, Sierra said, make sure you sign into your UNCG account when you're doing it. You might be on your personal, whatever. But yeah, other than that, y'all stay blessed.
If there's no other points, Evan, did you have something to say or no?
I was gonna say motion to end the announcements.
It's all right. You don't need a motion to end announcements. We can just keep moving. Adjourn roll call, Alani.
All right. Names are a little out of order, so if I miss you again, just email me or put it in the chat. Brandon. Ramira. David.
Sophomore Senator present.
Riley.
Sophomore Senator present.
Haley. Kennedy. Tuluanimi.
Junior Senator present.
7.
Junior Senator present.
Shania.
Junior Senator present.
Diana. Did she ever come back?
Diana.
Joshua,
Here.
Seneca,
Graduate Senator present.
Kira,
Graduate Senator present.
Dakari,
Commuter Senator present.
Tyler,
Commuter Senator present and still standing.
Commuter Senator present.
Jasmine,
Residential Senator present.
Azariah,
At-large senator present and still sitting.
Mara,
At-large Senator present.
Jeremy,
Student Organization Senator present.
Edmund, Edmund,
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Student Organization Senator present.
you're fine. Mason,
Brian School here.
Leslie,
College of Arts and Sciences Senator, present.
Saloni,
She's still gone.
Tim, Tim, and Jordan.
My name wasn't called. Kennedy Green, Health and Human Sciences Senator present.
I'm sorry, Kennedy. I have you noted though. I thought I called you at the beginning.
No problem.
All right, that concludes roll call.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, everyone have a good night. Get some rest.
Be blessed, y'all.